get up there quick enough. The blink hoof's not going to be dodged by the leap. Ravage comes out as well with an arrow follow-up, a perfect set. They're going to be able to burst down the PL. Disaster for Navi. Although they do find Tanner elsewhere, so maybe not as bad as it first looked with the Orchid. You mentioned it. If he dies once, the Orchid.
I already think it's worth it.
Yep.
They're already bad, depending on what side you're looking at.
I mean, the Orchid, yeah, definitely worth it, but questionable. Maybe Aghanim Scepter Rush as Navi lead the charge in. The Soulbind going to leash two together here. The Sonic Wave perfect on the 4 heroes. Navi, with the refresh Phoenix spells, are diving in forward, slowing them all down. Blizzy does manage to crack off the slow, though. It does look like NIP maybe able to, well, maybe not get out anymore. Mirana needs to juke around these streets, gets caught by a Blink Hoof Stomper with the Orchid on her. She could not leap away, but Pasha may have overcommitted here. The Wraith King with the Radiance just holding his ground, trying to bring down Pasha, but he gets away just barely to Huck.
That bracer, or the Van Brace value.
Yep.
Barely living their extra magic resistance, that extra 10 strength. The dream.
Still not much separating these two teams as Wraith King keeps his position on the top of the charts, but 3 Radiant heroes behind him.
He did have a DD on Tanner, and it's probably going to pop itself soon here. He really needs either a BKB or a Yules. I just can't imagine he goes any other direction, as apparently this era of peace, the people at home have decided favors Navi heavily. I don't know about that. I'm not saying they're not favored now, since PL's getting his items, and all 3 cores on Navi are above the other 2 cores of NIP, but to say it's that favored, I'm a bit skeptical.
The odds generally thought Navi had the edge, so maybe it's somewhat based on just the faith in the team as a whole, whereas NIP obviously playing with a couple of stand-ins.
True.
I know the panel liked how Navi's draft could fare with the mana burn against the Tidehunter, making his game very difficult. And once this PL gets a few items, you can definitely be a huge nuisance to some of these Dire heroes.
He is queuing up the Blink on Tide, and he is queuing up the Yules on Tanner. I'm just going to read into this and say I think their timings are just a tad off. Like, they needed the ability to make plays at this stage in the game, and honestly, without Yules, the only way they kill this PL is Ravage, as he is trying to make a play bottom with the Ag Silence. Yep. Would have maybe paid for itself there, but Tanner just being a bit too pubby, almost, it feels like. He's just kind of going for solo kills when unnecessary.
Stacking stuns. Remnant pull back onto the Phoenix, who gets taken out. The arrow almost caught Crystallizes PL there. That would have been very close. As NIP take over this right side of the map. Very few kills this game. 6 kills to 7 only. It has been a peaceful farming game for the most part.
Average of Wraith King, that seemed a bit low for the average net worth of Wraith Kings. I feel like most Wraith Kings are pretty high, but maybe there were some puppy 5-position Wraith Kings plugged in there.
Once upon a time, this hero did function as a support.
Crazy how that full swing comes into effect, huh?
Like 4 or 5 years ago, this hero was like only played as like a 4-position / 5 position.
Remember that like one patch he had the crit that swapped his health with yours or whatever? Yeah, that gave you 20%. Yeah, good times.
That was a good spell.
It was like, here's 20% of your max health as damage.
Before that, I mean, they were like, let's make up for this hero just having 2 boring passives.
Yeah.
Give him something that's OP.
That lasted for a whole month. Yep. As Philosopher's Stone on Peter, so free wards forever. They do have the BKB, as you said, going Blink on Wraith King as well. Yeah, the timings just don't match up to me. As we see top, the silence from Tanner. Navi, or Magical with the return silence. The arrow fishes, does not hit, but they find him.
Silence. And with the taunt to follow it up, Tanner brings down Magical. He does not have a defensive item of his own, and it feels like Navi really need this BKB on Queen of Pain.
He gets the 15 talent on Tanner, so that does increase his Resonant Pulse damage by about 50%. That's pretty drastic when you have 2 of them.
And NIP feel confident enough to waltz their way into the Roshan pit with Navi showing multiple heroes down bottom. They are not in position to contest this one, and NIP have great vision set up around this pit.
Queuing up the Maelstrom on Wraith King, so Mjolnir seems to be his item of choice against the Phantom Lancer. They need all they can get. We saw OG the other day that they had no heroes that naturally deal with PL, and guess what? They just built a bunch of items that did, and they ended up taking that game. Will we see somewhat of a repeat? We already have the Radiance. We have the Greaves from Mirana coming out. If they are not already out. Yeah, they're coming out soon. And then we have the Mjolnir from DOTA, and I'm expecting a Shiva's, like I said, from Tide at some point. Maybe after this blink.
Okay. Well,
Mindbreaker, tier 3 items coming out.
25-minute mark. There was a Mindbreaker. I saw...
Telescope.
Telescope, yep. And more.
Grimstroke will appreciate that, I'm sure.
Not much else claimed just yet. So we'll see if any of those tier 3 items have a big impact on this game or not. Orb of Destruction. Could be a good PL item, maybe?
It's not bad. M-Claw is so good, though. You probably leave it on M-Claw. The crit applies to all illusions on the first hit, so his whole volley of like 10 illusions just get an extra 30% damage on the first attack, which is really nice burst for the hero.
There's a Moonlight Shadow gank attempt. Not going to find the heroes they were hoping for. Crystallized. Sniffing it out.
They have an illusion and bottom the value. DOTA's like, I'm just going to burn this creep wave. Look at this efficiency as I walk to go pick up this illusion rune.
Don't even waste time right-clicking it. Just want to get that illusion.
Cool guys walk away from explosions or burning creeps. Same thing. Where's that second illusion going? Looks like it's going to go to the top half of the map. Maybe just a D-push top as we see Tanner catching the Grimstroke. Acceptor is paying for itself. I have to envision that it's a good item. I just thought, like, you want to make sure you don't die a single time in the mid-game first, but is paying for itself as well with these pickoffs on heroes that do rely on their abilities to protect themselves, the Grimstroke as well as the Queen of Pain. And this timing push is quite nice for them. They have the Aegis on Tanner. Almost surprised they gave that to him, if you want my honest opinion, because DOTA is not level 20 yet. He doesn't have a reliable second life. Yes, he has the BKB, but I think it would be better if you didn't have to pop the BKB on your first life just to keep your mana. That sounds not ideal. So we'll see if Tanner's able to make good use of that by maybe going into the fight much more aggressively than he originally planned.
Okay.
This is the stage in the game where NIP can deal with PL. He's got Manta Diffusal working on the heart, but they have the double Resonant Pulse, they have the Radiance, and that might just be enough to mitigate his impact in the fight such that maybe they can focus the rest of the team and then deal with the PL later. And looks like DOTA trying to be aggressive top. Yeah. Surmounts to nothing, though.
It's going to prioritize the tower now if he's not going to find the kills. It's a 2k gold lead, so NIP finally pulling ahead by a very small margin. Is that third item, the PL Heart, is that go time for Navi? Is that when they suddenly hit their big power spike and are ready to fight?
That is when PL becomes very fight ready. He actually queues up the Satanic, something I was wondering if he might consider. With all like the Ravage, the AoE spells, but also against the Radiance, it kind of ticks you down slowly, and Heart doesn't really ever go off in fights, like the extra regen component of it, because you keep getting hit by Radiance. So Satanic is the, hey, you have a Radiance and you're burning me down, but once I get to half, rather than trying to disengage with the Heart, I'm going to man up on you with the Satanic. And he has a lot of spells behind him, like the Egg, as well as the Centaur Stampede, that should be pretty good for him to reliably have a good time in the fight to commit, as he does just randomly pick off a courier in the bottom lane.
That's a decent chunk of gold at this stage of the game.
Yeah, 650.
Yeah, that's like better than a support kill in some ways. As far as your gold, that's coming into the bank, and Navi playing a very slow game here. They did finish an Aghanim Scepter on Phoenix, so there's now an added save. And that's going to put even more pressure on this Mirana to really try and snipe this Egg in these fights. With the level 2 Egg,
Greaves are done. Mirana even has a casual Glove of Haste. That's actually pretty fascinating. It has to do with the Phoenix, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, even the Greaves will probably be being held to like purge off a Fire Spirit or something just so you can hit the Egg maybe. Could very well see his #1 priority being take out that Egg at all costs, especially if there's going to be a second hero inside of it.
They also have the Quickening Charm on Tidehunter, going for a super late Vlad's. They are going to scout. They are going to find 9 Pasha, who does blink, though. Instantly stampedes, and Panic has no idea where the rest of NIP is, obviously because they are smoked. Tanner does take the top outpost at 2947, and maybe Magical will be able to snipe it right after they leave, as he'll see them bottom, but no, it's going to be too late. So they get double outpost as well.
And possibly a Phoenix kill. Yep.
Possibly. That looked pretty convincing.
You know, holding our judgment with
true.
how few kills this game. You know, like, is it going to be a kill? Are they going to commit?
Aegis is gone. So that kind of proves to me they should have put it on Dahak so he could just hit buildings better.
Yeah.
I don't think Tanner's going to die with the Yules. I don't really see how they kill him. The only way we talked about their lockdown is the Orchid. So I think that was a bit of a mistake as well. But should be fine. They did manage to turn that Aegis into a 2K net worth lead. But meanwhile, the PL, it's the looming threat. Got the Reaver. Still probably deciding between the Heart and the Satanic. But I already talked about what the approach of both items are. It just comes down to what he thinks will be more relevant during the fights. Yep. As he does commit to the Satanic buying that Morbid Mask. And Satanic MKB is his path of choice here. So that's definitely the synergy of manning up. You want to make sure every single attack lands when you are hitting with that Satanic, and you want to make sure you're dishing out as much damage as possible. As Magical serves as the human ward that is also getting the kill. Forced to BKB, though.
Yep. We'll throw out the Sonic Wave just to push him back a bit. And TP his way out. So he takes out PPD with the Arcane Rune. So it's going to be a short cooldown on his Sonic Wave, his BKB, and all those things. But yeah, is forced to use that 10-second BKB. I guess against Tide, you're just looking to like pop the BKB when you go in so you don't get ravaged. So
yeah, you have to. It's too difficult to play around that AoE.
It might not matter if it's a short BKB duration as much. Dodging, Tanner barely escapes. Nice two-man ravage, but they're taking a lot of damage on the dire side. NIP in all sorts of trouble with the Soulbind. That's going to link in two, and the Tide, he can't use any further spells because of the silence. And now Magical charging forward. This Arcane Rune spelling trouble here, but Tanner with a nice position for his TP out does not get caught. As NIP lose a couple, and we'll see Navi pushing down the mid lane.
They can't win fights if Void Spirit gets got on. He's like all of their damage. The double Astral Step, the double Resonant Pulse. Like, PL has to be taken down to half or so to have any chance of figuring out which one's real, have any chance of bursting him before the Satanic goes off. And I think Crystallize has realized his options are to go like Heart and then eventually a BKB because he's going to get hit by that Ravage, or to just tank the Ravage and have that stats resistance, which 30%, let's see, Ravage, how long of a stun is it? 2.6. So you're taking about a second off that stun, which is pretty nice.
He hits his level 20 as well, which is a nice little power spike for PL, having that extra Phantom Rush range.
And the Illusion Rune top, super value. Ooh. Roche is going to be spawning soon, so that's definitely where both teams are going to play around. Radiant does have the natural advantage at this stage in the game, unless the opponent is really far ahead. Dire's goal to take control of the Roche area is to take that triangle, as we talked about on the panel earlier. But if you're only up by, or even, I guess at this point, they're not even up anymore, it's very difficult to do so. And Navi looking to make stuff happen, but look at these lanes. I hope NIP is aware of this, because bottom lane as well as middle lane make this quite obvious.
Basha charging in with the Inkswell stomp, but completely off the mark with the hoof stomp, but they will still catch out the Witch Doctor. Phoenix gets the egg off here. They need to keep it alive. Mirana tries to leap in and go for the egg, but will not succeed in doing so. Is forced to leap away. Milan survives thanks to the invis here. The egg going to pop off and go into Huck, but he does have a BKB TP, but the Sonic Wave will be enough, and down he goes. Navi pull ahead with a big Wraith King kill.
So that was a smart move, I think, by Navi, because now that I'm thinking about it, the Roche did just, it's like the first minute of Roche spawning, and NIP knows they're missing. And if NIP just like plays cowardly on the bottom half of the map, and they just happen to do Roche on Navi, you just give it to them for free. So NIP put 3 heroes near the Roche pit in an attempt to be like, okay, if they're here, we're ready. But you only have 3 heroes. So Navi makes a smoke play to the part of the map that they're like, okay, NIP's probably playing here for the exact reason stated, and they catch him out. So a lot goes into why these plays work, and it's just cool to see each team's decision-making. I think NIP was just a bit too sloppy about it. As Nine Pasha, he's beefy. There's one beefy Centaur. He's got the Ag Scepter for his entire team to survive the Ravage even more so. That Satanic Lifesteal becomes even more value because of that damage reduction. Let's see. So the math behind damage reduction, I don't get to talk about this very often. I'm a nerd. So it's 40%. That means instead of 100 damage, you take 60. Which means they have to do that extra 40 damage to do the 100 damage, right? But that 40 damage, you don't take it as 40% extra health. It's 40 out of 60 gods. So you actually have 66% extra health. So PL right now, if they want to burst him during Centaur Ultimate, effectively has 2/3 of that. He has 4,000 health right now. They have to do 4,000 damage during the Centaur Ultimate to kill him.
And here Twitch chat told me NA is bad at math.
We have something going for us. Yep. Maybe I do, at least. I don't know.
You've solved it.
Yes.
Everyone just needs engineering degrees. As Blizzy showing some engineering himself. Gets a nice Blink Ravage to start the fight, but the follow-up arrow is off the mark. With the Stampede, Slayer's able to dodge the arrow. Does have a Supernova here, which I imagine is going to look to find an opening to get off. He doesn't want to get caught by the Mirana here. He drops the egg now. There's going to be an attempt to focus down the egg. Can they do enough hits on it? Doesn't look like they're going to get it. It's going to be close.
Oh,
I know, it pops. They turn it around.
Disaster.
Tanner goes down. Sonic Wave comes out. Dahak needs an exit. He's going to BKB, but it wears off, and he dies in the reincarnation. No escape for him. A second death as he comes out.
Oof.
Only PPD. Peter, where are you?
Yeah, they have all the conceptual answers to NIP's lineup.
We'll take another look. It was right as Roche had already been playing.
It's a 3-man Ravage on the supports, too.
Yep. The arrow couldn't land.
The Hawk wasn't in range to follow up with anything.
Yep.
He's their only damage.
And PL, just easiest fight of his life. Just, well, once he could see them, they were a little bit tricky to deal with the Invis, but he finds Milan. And without the Mirana, they could not bring down the egg. They all in on that egg. And even if they killed the egg, Navi's still winning this
fight. They killed
fight.
the Phoenix. That's about it.
Yeah.
As already top lane of Rax gone, middle lane of Rax.
14k gold suddenly. No longer the even game.
That's all it takes is 1-1 fight. That's what it felt like to me in the draft for Navi with their lineup comparatively. Is NIP had to win a lot of fights, and Navi had to win just 1 or 2. And you see there, the one fight already turns into 2 lanes of Rax and Aegis. 2 lanes of Rax and Aegis, a 16k net worth lead, and complete map control. Like, this game is cruising as long as they don't do anything too crazy. But they just have the plan in order, right? Like, they realize with this Tidehunter pick, they have to burst us in the Ravage, otherwise we just win the fight no matter what. And so this Ag Scepter from Centaur, not obviously an uncommon item on Centaur, but it's not one we see every single game. Just goes really well with this Satanic from PL. It's like, we're going to survive the Ravage, and then we're going to man the hell up on you. Like, that's the whole idea behind both of their builds. Queen of Pain, obviously, with the BKB, going the damage build with the Orchid and the Maelstrom, and actually queuing up an AC. So they are looking to make one final stand from NIP.
Yeah, and they're going to look for that smoke wraparound, try and get onto the supports first. The Grimstroke, the Phoenix, these are the heroes that'll be easier kills, and they can have such a big impact on these fights. But Navi, they saw them plan an Observer with the Blink. Hookstop is still going to catch 2. The Soulbind there as well. Nice Ravage, but where's the follow-up? The arrow going to come in, catches out the Phoenix. They managed to burst the Phoenix here. Who's next? Tanner just charging on forward with the BKB. Finds Ilias in the trees. Grimstroke in some trouble here. The Astral Step through. They're going to bring him down, so that's a nice start. They've taken out the 2 supports. Dahak going to now take out the Queen of Pain. They're dealing with the cause now, but there's still a big bad PL. Have they got the answers to him? He's got an Aegis. The arrow going to catch him out of the Yule Scepter. Buyback from the Queen of Pain. They want to try and kill the PL. They get him once. They've got to do it a second time now.
Buyback from Quab.
Have they got the answers for him? Crystallize immediately. Doppelganger to the high ground. Then he turns to fight. He wants to go on Tanner. PL still very healthy. They've got to find the real PL, and I believe they have an idea of where he is with that Satanic being popped, but now it's going to be wearing off. Dahak, he's in the front lines here.
Build.
He's got the reincarnation, though. He's going to be coming back to life fairly soon. Crystallize still healing with the Satanic, still healthy. Magical's reappeared, though, and he's going to BKB. He's going to help bring down 1, and it looks like Navi are turning this fight with the PL still alive. It's a 2-man show, the PL Queen of Pain show. They take out Mirana and Magical with a timely buyback, understanding NIP without ultimates weren't going to be able to deal with that PL.
I'm pretty sure it came from Crystallize, that communication. Him saying, I'm strong as hell, like, just buy back. Let's wreck these guys. His build is all about manning up, the Satanic and MKB, and that's why you go the Satanic against the Radiants as opposed to the Heart, because over the course of that fight, there's just no way for PL, if he doesn't have the Satanic, to stand his ground. Otherwise, his illusion, if PL's illusions are low health, then they just die easier and easier. It's like this compounding. As long as PL is full health, there's really no way to kill the real one. There's actually just no way. So the Satanic really proving its usefulness there. Going for a full Abyssal, I think he might even have it. Let's see.
Yeah, he does. It's on
he
the
does.
career.
Wow, that's scary as all hell. 26,000 net worth now.
About to hit level 25
Tanner?
as well.
Oh, he almost kills the courier.
Oh, he saw it flying in. That's why I was going for it. Crystallize. Doesn't have buyback here after buying his item.
Double Abyssal?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Perfectly played with the Soulbind. He will manage to focus down the Void Spur. He's going to immediately buy back. They want to get Blizzy with the BKB Queen of Pain. They'll succeed in doing so. Peter, he's on the cliff. He's been learning a little too many tricks from Arteezy, and he's just watching his teammates die. The Sonic Wave is going to catch Wraith King on the respawn, and Yeah, Peter did manage to TP off the cliff as
Peter.
NIP not looking too pretty for them. Quap also hits level 25, gets that Scream of Pain Fear.
That's huge. Big talent there. Don't know if it's going to change much because they're... Oh!
Blink, Ravage on 4, Arrow follow-up. They catch the Queen of Pain. That's going to be a dieback from the Queen of Pain if they can't keep her alive. Phoenix does not have an egg here, but yeah, they turn it around for now. The Queen of Pain, here a cheese being nom-nom-nommed on, and that's got to be GG as NIP are defeated in Game 1. Navi, they were patient this game, and it paid off.
Yeah, the thing is, if you have a Centaur X going, you have 66% extra health. So not only that, but all the heals are 66% more effective because every bit of health you have is that much more impactful. And you see this Phoenix, like this Quap, gets Axe Centaur and Phoenix Sunraid, and he's just never going to die. And I think I really like the itemization and idea, the vision of how the game's going to play out from Navi. NIP was content to farm because they had a Radiance coming out on Wraith King, and you could tell they had this sense of urgency to try to use that first Aegis. I really do think it was a mistake to not put it on Wraith King so he could just hit the high ground and not have to pop BKB to get his second life off. But when all said and done, well played by Navi, and I think NIP was just a few small things away from taking this game.
Close but no cigar for Navi in Game 1. For NIP in Game 1, but Navi, they do secure the win. We'll go back to the panel and see what NIP can adjust for Game number 2.
Indeed, Navi looking good. We see why they are near the top of their group. This PL pretty much did look unkillable, but NIP, they had a chance during that game. It felt like the 15 to 25 minute mark they were farming. You get the Radiance, you start pushing high ground, but it feels like just one missed Ravage. And maybe that's why we don't see the Tide so much. But Cap, Blitz, how do you feel about it?
I did feel like Ninjas in Pajamas played pretty well. I just think that their draft put them on too much of a timer. It's too hard to play the game clean enough to be able to, because you have to. It's also really weird timing, right? Where your time to be able to end the game, you probably need that level 20 talent on Wraith King. Right?
Yeah.
But simultaneously, you need to be aggressive enough and end the game fast enough that PL doesn't also get to his super late game point where he literally 1v5s like he did at some point in time. So
it sounds like this one you definitely putting it more on a draft more than anything. Just straight up Navi kind of had them out drafted.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like I think Ninjas Pajamas played well enough that I want them to give themselves more forgiveness in Game 2's draft. So if things don't go perfectly, they still have an opportunity to win.
Yeah. Blitz, how do you feel about this one?
I felt like Navi were always just like a move or two away from winning. Like you can even see in this fight where they mess up the initiation. The Phoenix is way too effective in these team fights. And they only really have the Queen of Pain, or the Mirana as a natural egg hitter. But they did such a good job of making sure that this Phoenix egg went off every time. And that is usually just like your fight ender. You can see in this fight right here where they all in, but they don't really get the perfect jump. And he's able to just kind of run around.
He's just flying, and then he eggs right at the edge here. And, at this point you think the fight's just over. You can't do anything.
No, and the egg was perfect because they couldn't escape. They had to run past it to be able to win the fight.
Well played.
It was just way too game-changing. I think it was a really, really good Phantom Lancer game, too.
Yeah,
I cannot understate that. There's that fight at bottom where he had the Aegis, he loses it, and then he just stands there and fights for the next, 30 seconds.
That was 1v5,
His Queen of Pain actually TP'd to the other outpost and slowly made it across, and they turned that engagement. I think that NIP is... they're much better than their results are showing, but unfortunately for them, you do have to start putting wins together. You can look good against a team like Secret, but saying oh, you guys got kind of close.
Hey, good job.
Isn't quite enough. And I feel like Navi, especially in this league so far, has been really impressive to me. The way that they're drafting, the way that they're playing. I think Magical's really hitting a new level. He's been very aggressive in all these games. I really like how he's playing.
Yeah. Sioma Slayer has been really good for them, as is Pasha. Their 3 and 4 duo has been putting in some nice work.
Yeah, we've seen Pasha. He's had some great games in this. And as we said, right, we kind of saw this Centaur. He wasn't looked at even in this first series. And then now in this series, they just straight up first pick it for him. 2-1-17 on that Centaur. Great laning phase as well. Yeah, he had a nice one. This was just, it felt like a clean game because it was pretty slow paced in the beginning, right? I believe it was 5-4 at 20 minutes in. Both teams were okay getting their farm. But like you said, sure, you get the Radiance on that Wraith King. But you still are losing all your mana to the Fusel, so it feels like you don't have that second life like you talked about.
Yeah, and it's like it was so hard for them to be aggressive. The thing was is that Navi was fine with the pace of the game.
Yeah.
They were down with this farm. And Ninja's Pajamas, in a way, they kind of had to be because Tidehunter still needs farm. The Hawk on the Wraith King definitely needs farm. So there's not that many moves you can make with just Tanner plus some supports.
Yeah. I think that Tidehunter against PL, like I said at the beginning of the draft, it makes sense in a vacuum. It's like, oh, I get to Anchor Smash that deals a lot of damage, clears up illusions, but it goes both ways. The Tidehunter matchup is okay if you're able to instantly get the jump on the PL and blow him up before he's able to get like 20 illusions out.
Which we saw one time. It did work. But,
exactly. But if the fight ever starts with PL being able to hit the Tide for free and forcing him to defensive ravage, that is the only spell you're going to see that Tidehunter cast that the entire engagement.
Yeah.
And you can't have like your third highest net worth on your team literally cast one ability and that's it.
And he's a strength hero who doesn't really do anything else.
No.
Yeah, it's like a more offensive version of Underlord, right? Similar concept in that they Underlord lowers the damage that Phantom Lancer can output in a fight. Anchor Smash does something similar, except for it does some damage in there. He's a frontliner that can kind of shrug those things off, but ultimately you are only a soft counter. You do not hard counter that hero.
Well, that makes sense. Game number 1 in the books. Navi does take the win. What are you fans at home? Type in chat, and I did read your guys. Don't worry. It was a 19.33% pick ban rate blitz, so it was very close. Thank you for chatting. Yeah.
Wait,
what do you
so
guys think, NIP? No, you said 7. I said 20. What do you say? We're going to throw it to a quick break when we get back. NIP versus Navi, game number 2.
Have you ever wished that you could play extremely inappropriate and borderline griefing heroes like Anti-Mage or Ember Spirit in the offlane without getting reported by your teammates? Neither have I, because my teammates will report me either way, but regardless, I have the solution for you. In the past couple of years, pro players have discovered a number of ways to manipulate creeps such that they get farm in a lane no matter what heroes they're playing and no matter what heroes the enemies are playing. The current reigning strategy is to play the first creep wave like it's normal, sometimes with the addition of pushing the wave, running through the enemy jungle to behind their tier 1 tower, and grabbing the second creep wave with your hero. Then you run into the enemy jungle, making sure to right-click the creep wave as you walk up any high grounds so that the wave doesn't de-aggro when it loses vision of you, then grabbing the third wave from behind the tier 2, combining the two waves into a massive double wave, and either teleporting out in a safe place or running the entire creep wave to behind your tier 1. Once again, when you do this, you need to make sure that you right-click the creeps anytime you walk up a high ground, otherwise they're going to de-aggro. So what does this actually achieve? 1. This denies a large number of entire creep waves from the enemy carry, often in situations where you would otherwise have literally 0 denies. 2. This puts the next few creep equilibriums directly in front of your tier 1 tower, which of course makes lanes significantly easier. As you can imagine, pros consider this strategy to be pretty damn broken, so they've come up with some pretty good solutions that you need to look out for. Bane and Shadow Demon, for example, are great at stopping this from happening because they can Nightmare or Imprison you to de-aggro the wave. Against these heroes, you either need help from an ally to do the cutting, or you need to be very careful with your positioning.
We rise up from the dust and claim our throne.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
DOTA is the kind of game where you kind of know you're going to win before it's even over. I was having a down day, and I decided to revisit some good memories. My name is Peter PPD Dager, and these are my moments of brilliance.
sightings all around the city. According to experts, the origin of these shadows is
You leave it to me. I'll get your taxes in an okay place.
What?
Well, just as soon as my audit is over. This gets my undivided attention.
Take a lot of trips to the islands, Phil.
Pretty great, right? Oh, Phil's legally dead. Fell off a boat. Going by Dennis now. Solari. Long story. Then we got, oh, no, you're not gonna want to see this.
I don't think this is gonna work.
Just okay is not okay. AT&T has America's best network, now with our best plans at our best prices, starting at $35 a line for 4 lines, new from AT&T.
Everybody loves an underdog. Who needs to be liked?
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
There's no defense, I'll buy it if I want it. I'm going supersonic, come on, beg for it. Alright, okay, running out of luck, too much in my cup. Nisi, run it up. Why you always tripping like you top? Cause you're not my team, Bob. Shorty, I know. Why you always tripping like you top? Cause you're not my team, Bob. My team, Bob.
Rising out the ashes, coming from the ether. All I hear is static. Breathe a little deeper. Fallen, broken, a million light years away from home. My eyes opened, and now I've come to claim life. Oh, never let it go. These wings carry me. Live this fantasy. Running through the fire, gonna let it burn. I am the Messiah, gonna let it burn. Running through the fire, gonna let it burn. I am the Messiah, gonna let it burn. 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 Found me in the darkness. Now they see me shining. Calling me a goddess. Thunder and the lightning. I'm falling, I'm faster. Making my way back, I'm close to home. I'm fighting harder because I've come to claim my throne. Never letting go. These wings carry me. Live this fantasy. Running through the fire, gonna let it burn. I am the Messiah, chasing all my dreams now lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different. Tell me everything's alright. Life is just a bunch of faces, and if it's not, we'll still be fine. I know we're going places. I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different.
ESL One Los Angeles is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, AT&T, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, and GG Bet.
And here we are, Navi versus NIP Game 2. As you see, the traffic jam is there, but luckily enough for you, you're here watching Dota instead of getting mad at other people. Unless you're playing Dota, then you probably are, but, you know,
And there's no traffic jam here, Grant. We're just cruising straight to the next game, nice and quick. You want to know why, Grant?
Why?
Because we've got a draft on our hands.
Do we?
Pretty soon.
Oh my goodness, we do. I didn't even spot it out. There's going to be the Keeper of the Light and the Mars getting picked up. Hey, first time we're going to see Coddle today, right? No. Did we see it in game
Navi
1?
picked it.
Oh. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not Navi
No,
picked
I was
it.
gonna say.
Secret picked it earlier today.
But the one on this stream, it'll be the first time we see it. Apologies. And this hero, you know, pretty good. Obviously, you are going to have to give some heroes up. And NIP, they saw it. 9 Pasha straight up. First pick Centaur, it owned. Hey, you don't know how to deal with it maybe? You just ban it out instead.
Bop, bop.
We see Navi do this a decent amount, right? They just love having Pasha on someone who starts the fight. And they always have at least one support and one core who can pour damage into it. Last time it was Phoenix as well as Quap. This time you already set it up with the Snapfire. A ton of team damage already.
Much better counter to Will-O-Wisp than Supernova Phoenix Egg. Like Snapfire counters level 1 egg, but then after that, it's a lot harder.
It's not
plus,
as good.
Plus, like, the team usually builds to protect the egg, whereas Will-O-Wisp, like, you don't really need
to protect
it to survive.
It's a lot harder to protect, too. And the game-changing impact of it, like, it's easier to place because, obviously, Keeper of the Light doesn't have to be in there to be able
you don't
to
sacrifice yourself.
Exactly. That's the trade-off, is, like, still has a lot of teamfight utility, though.
Yeah, one half dozen or the other, right?
I'm still not, like, super happy with it, but
you'll take it.
You take Bristle here? That's what everybody else has been doing.
Yeah, why not?
If Ember's banned, right? Which it is.
I don't think anyone's ever letting Ember through ever.
Yeah, Ember will never make it.
Didn't you
through
guys
again.
play it in game 1?
Yeah, we stomped. That was the game we won.
Yeah. Makes sense then. That here, what makes it? Is just so mobile, or like what's making it that good? Like it has to be multiple different things, right?
Versatility in draft is another thing,
Okay.
right? Because you can fit it into mid or safe lane, even off lane, even for position,
Yeah.
even no tail 5.
I think any hero, it has like a 50-ish% win rate, right, in this league?
They do.
So if you have like a 50-ish% win rate in this league, and your first pick almost every single game, that tells you something. Like the good teams are picking it, the bad teams are picking it. It don't matter.
It's getting picked.
Yeah, and it'll win more times than it won't.
And they do go with the bristleback, obviously. Pretty good versus Mars. Just don't offlane it. I really do feel like the fact you can put this hero middle and it dominates most other heroes, and when it doesn't, you just go behind a tier 1 or tier 2 tower and farm. I don't know. I feel the strength of that hero is it can always farm.
I agree, but I think some teams also, like, if you have Coddle Bristle, that you're like, well, why aren't we laning it?
Well, in the
That's
I
what
just
they
don't think off lane it is more what I'm saying. I think
So
safe
safe
lane.
lane?
I think safe lane's fine. I think middle lane's great. I just think the off lane is.
Did Navi choose Radiant, by the way?
Yeah, it was NIP. Yes, they did. NIP chose first pick, and then Navi chose Radiant.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And NIP in the first game obviously chose Dire, so.
All right, so they have Ogre, which is a pretty good lane winner. It doesn't show too much. They want NIP to reveal more cards.
Yeah.
The problem with it is that because you are second pick, you, no matter what, won't get to see a core matchup before you have to show another core. Like, NIP, if they wanted, so they see the offlane right now. They see that it's going to be Snapfire Mars, like 99%, unless this is going to be like a core Snap or a core Ogre.
Yeah.
So you see at least one matchup in full. And so for NIP, you can counterpick that, or you can take, what I think you should do is just take your other support, and you still don't reveal anything.
Continue to hide.
Yes, because you don't know if that's a Bristle off, mid, or carry.
Yeah.
And so Navi have to show one of their cores. So they showed DOTA.
Whoa! It's a pretty big one. Obviously, Magical has played, I believe, 2 times, maybe 3 already in this tournament.
Yeah, and because Death Prophet has already been banned, this DOTA pick looks pretty good. And because you have Bristleback, it's more unlikely that they take something like Anti-Mage or some sort of hero that has like an easier time dealing with it. They also have like a lot of clear on the side of Navi. I'd say the one thing they lack right now is like their initiation is okay. Their damage is pretty good when they get items.
When you get the items, yeah.
And NIP, their initiation is good. Their teamfight is good. Their damage is kind of, they need like another like DPS dumper.
Yeah. And presumably you need a mana burner against Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the better way to play it, right?
You could take something like Sniper and play the range game.
That's true.
Against her
Shaker, Coddle, Sniper,
yeah,
pretty nice.
and then you could just like sit back and let your Bristle frontline for you. That wouldn't be the worst way to deal with it either.
Yeah, they, unless they're going to Snapfire Axe it up, like they don't have a way to get on top of you.
Yeah, but I don't know if Tanner's going to play that.
Yeah.
We just haven't, right? We don't know. Maybe he can, but we haven't seen it. You would pick it here if you did, right? Because you don't have overall last pick. You maybe should just get it.
Maybe. I mean, we did see a sniper get destroyed by Mars like a week ago, right?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
don't remember what that was.
Well, they're using all their time. They as well are a little confuzzled here. Underlord, huh?
So it is going to be the safe lane Bristleback that you wanted.
I think you want a 5-man, and you want a 5-man early. This is good damage mitigation, and I actually think the vehicle out is going to be pretty good against all of Navi's abilities.
Until the Underlord gets speared and leaves the other 4 members of his team alone. It could happen. With Mars.
Got a point.
It's like we have BSJ on panel. No, I'm just kidding.
I just want to see who's going to break first.
Well, yeah, they put the camera on me, so I had to. It's like they're like, you better talk, Grant, you piece of garbage, or else you're fired. Oh, yes, sir. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I just wimped out. So the bands. So
Truth
what
is, you can't go that long without talking, Grant.
Okay, okay.
I was about to smile, and he almost had me.
He almost broke.
We can't do it now, but okay.
You
in
literally
the next couple of days,
you just broke
we
in
will.
the like 2 seconds.
Yeah. What? I wasn't get a not talk. That'd be weird to do it twice in one thing, Blitz. You need to learn how to
it's
the
a nice bit,
continuation.
but-
yeah, like
I see.
weirdo. Do you ban the sniper then, or like what hero? It definitely feels like you now have the 2 frontliners. It does feel like you need someone from range who deals with Medusa. Is
I
there
feel like
someone
they
else?
were just going to take more momentum-based hero on ninjas in pajamas.
And just
Because the
5-man
Underlord-
back?
Yeah, I thought they were like looking to end the game fast. They tried to do it before, right?
So there's 2 things that you can do with NIP's draft that works well against Navi. Is either you try to overwhelmingly 5-man and you think you're gonna win that, which could be the case.
You could.
Or you pick a really mobile hero because DOTA is really garbage at dealing with splits.
Okay.
Like if I decide to split push
so you AM them?
On NIP?
Yeah, you just do mid bristle back.
I mean, anti-mage seems good, but it sounds really bad with
your lineup right now.
Yeah, with your lineup.
You would have like no fighting power.
Oh, okay. The Tanner TA.
So they take TA, which I
That's
think is
quick paced.
pretty good, but it does mean like you're locked in now to one strategy.
playstyle, yeah.
You are going to run down lanes together as soon as you get the opportunity. Underlord will come mid with you. Bristle will come mid with you early. You'll try to get a Roche, which I think with Underlord, Bristle, and TA, you'll take very fast. And you need to keep the momentum on, because I do think once this game gets to a certain point, you're going to lose.
So in order to like solidify this game, if you have a mid matchup that totally dumpsters TA, then you could just straight up win the game, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't do that, but
It is it's gonna be Razor, so it is the magical Razor Crystallized. Will be playing that Medusa.
Yeah, I like that swerve. I really like this DOTA
Swerve.
pick because it did a lot here for Navi. I know I don't have a lot of time to talk, and I don't want to take all your time, Austin, but I think DOTA, it's flexible enough that you can put it safe lane or mid, and you take away the versatility that first pick gets. Because normally in this position, first pick would be able to see a hero, one-to-one counter it like that, and it's very, like, you don't have to think about it beyond that. You're going to win 2 lanes as a result. But because you take this DOTA and you assume that it's mid, you pick this TA, suddenly she gets the opportunity to get counterpicked, and you get trapped back in the draft with your last pick. That's how a second pick ideally goes really well.
Yeah.
all they had to do was just like, now they've got this Medusa, lightly outscales Ninjas the Pajamas. We just win the lane, and then we're in a pretty good space. We've got the early game, we've got the late game. We just fill the void. In the mid game, we're good.
Yeah. But NIP, I think they can win, but they have to like
it has
15-minute Roche,
okay.
so that they can get the second Roche early by like 28 minutes and then end the game. Like go fast.
Okay, you agree with Navi?
Yeah, I agree. I think Navi, once again, Ninjas the Pajamas in a situation they can't make mistakes. And I think Navi will force them into those mistakes.
Okay, what do you guys think at home? Obviously, the MVP is very, very important. So make sure to click on that link and see, because, you know, this could be a 2-0 for Navi, or maybe NIP will take it. It is game number 2 with Gods and BSJ.
A loss here for the Ninjas in Pajamas would drop them down to 1 win, 3 losses, and boost Navi up to 3 wins, 1 loss. A very important match series. It's time for the moment of brilliance from NIP. Do you think this is the draft?
Chat will appreciate that one.
To highlight those moments of brilliance.
I'm going to be honest with you and be scared to say I think this is a very significant draft advantage for Navi, even more so than those odds might indicate, to be honest with you. I think this is a glorious Razor game in terms of the 3 cores. You have the Razor versus TA matchup in the mid lane. I think, in my own experience, Bristleback is miserable to play against Razor. You kind of just get linked, and you never build items, you never do anything to be able to prevent that. Your hero does just naturally walk around and exist as a perfect target for a Razor to just suck you dry. So I don't know. We'll see. I like Navi's draft a lot. I think they have to force the issue on NIP, but then they have this Medusa hero. I think they have enough playmakers to like do stuff in the mid game and not fall too far behind. The other game we saw Medusa, they didn't really have any playmaking, and that meant that they kind of just got ran over while the Medusa was farming, and I think that's not going to be the case here. I think Razor can go pretty much a right-click carry build as well, but more of like a frontliner build. If he gets that S&Y, Satanic kind of stuff, he's going to be real scary, as he should win the mid lane, a very well-known hard counter Razor versus the TA.
Yes, we will be probably keeping an eye on that matchup where Tanner should theoretically be struggling here. Razor already starting with that static link, of course, going for the first wave of harass and damage. So not an easy lane for the TA, and there, like you say, there's other good targets to link later on in the game. The Bristle, even the Underlord. And speaking of Underlord, taking a lot of bullying and right-click early on from Elias's Ogre Magi. We'll see how Crystallized can fare. I mean, this doesn't sound like the scariest of lanes. Shaker with Underlord as far as pressuring a Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa's similar to Drow. She just needs a melee support that walks in front of her so she can't just get clicked and ran at by these melee heroes. So I think this goes in tandem with what I said about the Razor's game. I think Medusa should have a pretty solid lane, maybe not free farm, but she'll get what she needs out of it. And I think with a hero like Medusa, especially when it's not your overall last pick, if it's going to get the farm it needs, that's all you can really ask of it.
It's like a... Did PP go for the Chakra level 1 here? Wow. I was expecting him to go for a kill on Slayer with like a blinding light, but no, he's going for Chakra.
Yeah, with Bristle, it's not too crazy, right? You don't cost mana for yourself to Chakra him, and if he quills them, they just can't do anything. You notice how much damage Pasha took there. It helps you push out the wave so that you can pull. And now he gets the blinding light himself. Has the headdress. May look to blinding light somebody here, but it's pretty short cast range, level 1. Attempting to go for the big camp pull. Will PPD have his own moment of brilliance here? As I got my own reference, and he does.
That's the highlight of his game so far, just a pull.
It looked pretty brilliant to me, Gods,
Yeah.
and you don't need to sell him short. Thank you.
Condolences. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Peter. I shouldn't have done that.
I wonder if they should have considered blocking the big camp from the Navi side, just because Coddle Bristle can reliably zone you when they pull. As you saw there, Dahak kind of just walked at them. Yeah, he took a little bit of damage, but they just denied 2 whole creeps to that big camp and forced Navi to take a bit more damage in order to contest. So maybe they'll look to try to make sure that doesn't happen again, but it is pretty tough to not have the lane shoved into you when you're dealing with Coddle Bristle. Those quills, they are coming.
Yep. Before it came to us, I mentioned this feels like a game we're going to be seeing a lot of farming, like Medusa, TA, Underlord, Bristle. These are heroes known for hitting creeps, farming stacks.
Well, we love to see. That's why we cast and watch professional Dota, Gods.
Who are the heroes to look out for? Who's going to be making the plays, making the big moves, or which team would you say is going to needs to be more aggressive?
It has to be NIP making the moves, but at the same time, I think Navi is going to have plenty of proactive use of skills this game. With the Mars Arena, it does pretty much kill everybody on the side of NIP. They don't have like a Ember Spirit or some hero that can naturally get out of the arena and is not susceptible to it. As we see Blizzy running at Crystallized with a lot of bonus damage as well as that damage mitigation from his passive. And Crystallized is going to be forced to TP to his own Tier 1. I don't know how I feel about that TP to the Tier 1. You do have a salve on Ogre and 2 mangoes. Oh, he gets the salve popped.
Wow.
That's a yikes.
And his courier died. I don't know what was on that one.
Okay, suddenly, this lane that I said I thought Medusa was going to get everything she needed. They're going to get dove. There's 5 creeps. There's a Shaker. He has Fissure. And here it is.
Yeah, it's almost just better dying here, Crystallized. I think you just accept
no TP,
your fate.
though.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, okay, don't die. I take everything back. But yeah, he needs to juke. He needs to jive. He starts right-clicking Milan
At this point,
the tower,
you're just happy to get
so
XP.
many creeps. Yeah.
You just want the creeps to die. But he's going to get whacked.
Another whack. Blizzy gets stunned underneath the tower. Right as he do tower aggro. Nice play by Ilias timing that one. And that's going to push him back. So now he's actually getting some creeps.
I want to talk about tower aggro real quick. That was really smart by Crystallized. A lot of times you will try to run away, like maybe into your trees and everything. But as we see a potential engagement here at the rune, he doesn't have mana to TP, and he doesn't have meld. So he might just be dead.
Razor's got boots, and Tanner's praying for help. He's
Blinding
got PPD
light.
coming, and
no, barely. But so tower aggro range is 500. So if the oh my god, bottom, they can't let me talk. As Milan goes on Crystallize again, doesn't have mana for Fissure, was actually 2 mana short. Does get the first blood though. It's 500 range. So if they're within 500 range and they issue an attack on the Medusa, then they'll draw aggro. So if he walks outside of that 500 range, then they would have been able to attack him without drawing the tower aggro. But he stayed really close to the tower, so they weren't willing to attack him. But he still died anyway. As we see Magical going top onto Dahak. This is what I mean. There's just so many juicy suck targets this game as he will drain them for all of their damage.
Yikes, yeah. Off to a good start on the Razor.
Just seems so free.
Denies.
Just to walk around this game.
TA does have some good last hits. I'm not sure if that's all lane creeps or there's some jungle creeps in there as well.
TA will get hers. Yeah, it's mainly that TA is meant to dominate the lane, and so since Razor does end up getting everything he wants out of the lane, and kind of just runs rampant on the map like you're seeing here, and they don't have any hero that's like all of their heroes are vulnerable to Razor just doing what he just did. He can do that to the Underlord, he can do that to the Bristleback, he can even do that to the Shaker to some extent. And the Blinding Light from Coddle really is their only disengage that's reliable to break the link. And we'll have to see how that ends up setting the pace of the game for Navi as Nine Pasha. He's looking, has Bulwark, or excuse me, God's Rebuke coming up, but it was a little bit on cooldown, gets Blinding Lighted away. Yep. He does have the Ring of Protection, so he has just a bit more armor.
Throwing out what damage he can in the top lane, but yeah, all 3 lanes, Navi getting some good farm. Even the Medusa, who did end up dying, is still CS in there.
Here comes Magical.
Oh, once again, yep, having complete control of the lane means also complete control of the runes, and finding a haste rune, one of the best runes you can imagine for a Razor.
I don't really see what they do about this ever, too. That's like the problem. I don't think this changes as the game goes on. He's probably going to go Treads, maybe just go straight SNY, maybe Yules. I really like Yules Razor, but I haven't been seeing too many Razors recently. Is going to miss some creeps underneath his own tower, but Bristleback, not a carry you want to be seeing that's level 4, 0-2, and 0 at 6.5 minutes, or almost 7 minutes into the game.
Is there a solution for this Bristle? Do you need to go into the jungle soon, or do you just got to stick it out to the top lane?
They need stacks, and if they don't have stacks, which I actually don't know why PPD is not stacking. I think it's a pretty big deal that he's just kind of accepting what's happening to his Bristleback right now. I would not deem this a moment of brilliance, Guts. As he's getting it in the action on the Hawk, he said, screw it, there's no farm, I'm going to walk at them. And I don't think this is exactly how we envision Bristleback walking at them. He has double Bracer.
Roaming
so he's
DD.
actually pretty tanky, but this is not ideal. Let's just say this. Blizzy is playing a hero that honestly doesn't want you to rotate to him. He just wants to do his own thing in this lane. And so now all of a sudden they just have a Bristleback as well as an Underlord in the bottom lane. And I think Navi, is Tanner going to get him? Oh, the side blade attack.
I mean, yeah, it's all Razor game.
Yeah, he almost got him there.
All right.
Navi's just chilling in the other lanes, though. They are going to respond to this accordingly because they're like, "Why? I guess we'll respond to this level 5 Bristleback. He's only level 5, and he's just going to
kill him again.
Die." Yeah.
Crystallize gets this kill. Milan will get a revenge kill. Takes out Slayer. And Crystallize taking quite a bit of damage. This beefy Underlord. Maybe a little bit happier now with all the damage he's accruing. He's threatening Crystallize. Charging in. Blizzy wants another kill, but Magical going to be the one showing up.
Force him, yeah. That's a big one to force the rotation from Magical. As nice. Tanner, he's actually out-leveling Magical here.
He's having a much freer lane because of how much Magical is roaming around, which is somewhat his job this game, I think. More so than others, when you have a Medusa on your team, you need to be a bit more active.
Yeah, I think what Magical's doing is fine, and Tanner's doing a good job of capitalizing on it. And I don't think he's overdoing anything on Magical. He's just so strong. Like, you have to gauge whether or not losing out on that XP mid is worth it. And since his impact in these rotations is so high, like right now, he's just going to bully them away again. Putting himself in the lane, like at this point, TA's Refraction does a pretty good job of mitigating the damage you're draining from her. So you also die to traps plus a rotation. And Slayer is just taking over the mid lane, but they are going to potentially lose the mid tower as Arena is popped in order to kill Peter.
Do you think this is Peter's job now, just to kind of stick it out the top lane?
Absolutely. If it almost becomes Blizzy's job though, because he doesn't have Illuminate on Keeper of the Light.
Nice rotation. Milan's
level
had
6 on Urshik.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic
game.
Holy
crap! He's got 800 gold towards a blink.
Yeah, with the first blood and everything else, and the arcane boots. We're seeing a lot of like brown boots or tranquil boots Shaker, but he's
the breadwinner of this game. Actually, I didn't realize how good he was doing. That might be a real difference maker for them here.
He's more net worth than the Underlord for a second there. And they're going to charge it with the Necrosline. They bring down Magical. That's a huge kill to get. The Razor goes down. Navi looking to see what they can find in retaliation, but they lose their mid tier 1 tower. PPD with a blinding light to push them away too.
Maybe this has been over a rotation from Magical.
Yeah.
Suddenly Crystallize TP'd mid, and he's going to take the lane. They don't really have any independent cores on Navi. Like Razor as well as Mars kind of need to play with the team. As we see another initiation instantly shreds him from Tanner.
With the haste rune, Tanner's just charging in, getting kill after kill after kill.
Okay.
He's on a dominating streak. Needs to be careful not to lose that one. Those streaks give up quite a bit of gold these days, and you can see NIP feeling good. They're giving him the tips. They're like, dude, you like against a Razor? It doesn't look like it. You're crushing it.
This Bristleback's game looks disastrous, but he's going to have all the time in the world to just chill.
Yep.
He's got a jelly on Bristle. That feels good. And the Faded Brooch. Actually, the dream items for Bristle in the early game. Even give him the Tome. He's going to be level 8 now.
Nice.
That's something more support should be wary of. If your core has a really bad game and you've already gotten your level 6, just give it to him, guys. Like, come on. You don't need level 7 compared to that core needing those extra bit of levels. Usually when your game's looking good at support, your carry's either absolutely free farming or their game got trashed. So if it's the latter, consider giving them that Tome.
It's going to help out Bristle's game as Navi
They're smoked.
A move of their own. Magical seems to be the bait. He's farming the neutrals here under dire trap vision, but...
This game got out of hand fast. They're already down by 4,000 net worth.
Yeah, Navi rotate in. There's an ancient stack here that they were trying to go for here. He manages to get pushed forward by the cookie, but doesn't actually hit him with the stun. And now Pasha could be in some trouble. He gets the spear with the arena. Now they're going to drop the Snapfire ultimate now to try and spit those fire globs onto them.
Not enough
doing
damage,
damage. Yeah, Tanner survives through it all.
He has a blink as well.
Yep, Cuddle pulls him in with the Will-O-Wisp. They lose Slayer, and Tanner blinks back in, looking to get some more follow-up kills. Pasha turns to face him with the TP, will survive.
Crystallize is farming, but so is Milan, as he has 200 gold from a blink. This is like a 13-minute blink dagger for a support Earthshaker. Double damage rune, easy.
Easy jungle farm now.
Yeah, that's the best jungling double damage I've ever seen.
I saw that and I was like, okay, maybe he'll leave for a TA, but now he's all about his own life right now.
I think that's fine as Shaker, right? One of the few supports that can really change the game with one item.
Yes, and we'll be seeing that momentarily. And for Navi, it feels like they're going to be looking just to fall back and try and secure this Medusa's game because things haven't quite gone according to plan. Down 4k gold just 12 minutes in. A lot of that is just the support. If you look at the cores alone, this game is even.
The Hawk is no mana.
Yeah.
He has to be careful of chasing because of Tanner here, though.
Not going to go down.
He needs that Yules on Magical, otherwise he kind of just dies to TA. There is a trap. It's a trap.
TA. Not going to commit the blink
well, he
right
stacks
away.
The value.
Well, it depends who for. If Tanner takes it, then...
I didn't specify. It's fine.
Yeah. Crystallize being body blocked here in the mid lane.
Who's going on who?
Yeah, it seems a bit unclear. PPD gets caught by the slow here, and there we go. They're going on the Bristle. He gets speared into the Mars Arena, and Magical, getting cookied forward, doesn't hit the stun, so the Fish is going to allow Tanner to disengage from the static link.
They do have Blink Echo.
And yes, Blink Echo online. Just a 3k gold lead now. Given that, I mean, is this really like a 3k gold lead when it's just the support net worth? Like, the cores are even. Is this game going...
It changes the game a lot.
Okay.
Because the Shaker is a threat, which him being a threat makes it so that the TA can be more aggressive on the map with her farming than somebody like the Mars, because he's scared of potentially getting ganked. As you see, he's going to just drag the creeps instead of hitting the tower. He's scared of a potential rotation, and that's going to just... It's hard to see it, right? It's kind of like a Shen heal in fights. It's like... You know, you don't really see it. You don't see the sustain unless it happens to save somebody that one time. But it does keep the team topped off in a way that changes the game significantly. And I think with Shaker having this blink, he's just going to be playing off map. They're going to be constantly looking for stuff. And that threat of the Echo is almost as powerful as the Echo itself. As they're rotating.
Did scout it. They had a Sentry Ward in the mid lane. So they've seen this Invis Shaker and almost
Slayer.
certainly would have seen the Blink Dagger on him.
Yeah, he uses the cookie in an attempt to escape.
No, sir.
Mars is here, though. This might be bad for NIP.
Yeah, Slayer.
No arena
He's
for 5.
buying a lot of times when that arena comes back up, gets speared into the side here. And 9 Pasha, he's like you said, his arena's coming back up. He's out of mana, though, for the time being here. Charging in forward with Crystallize. He's got these Stone Gates, so he's going to try to lock him in place. The Mortimer's Kisses raining on down, doing some good damage, and they managed to stone up PPD. He's in way too deep, gets caught in the arena. Double kill for Magical. And
Blizzy
Navi,
ulted in. I thought he was ulting out.
Yeah, they punish a big overextension. Tanner's waiting on the high ground. It's a bait this time. A trap in NIP's favor. As Tanner will get himself a kill, and now a second trap. Could find Crystallize. Tanner blinks forward, but the damage just isn't there with
That's
the
a
static
Medusa, man.
Yeah.
Does break the link, though.
That's important, but Tanner still getting fairly low. 5 more seconds before another refraction, but does have the trap on the high ground.
We've talked about this. Medusa Mana Shield does not care about reductions, so it doesn't matter if you Meld Strike a Medusa. It just doesn't change very much. So he's got to be a little bit more wary of the fact that he like hits the Medusa and it just Meld Strikes for like 50 damage. It's just underwhelming for the most part.
Just some nice items coming out. The Implore, the Dragon Scale on the dire side. As Tanner going to blink in. Nice cookie away. Slayer's been very annoying on this Snapfire, that's for sure. Every time I see him, he's just jumping around, avoiding ganks, helping out teammates.
This man is an experienced dead lane farmer. He knows to cookie himself to safety non-stop as he's been cowering on the side. He's actually forcing that fight bottom for his team to be beneficial, and they played around it really well because he didn't get caught. So props to Slayer here. He's doing that with third from the bottom on net worth, which is pretty impressive all things considered. As Tanner almost done with the Deso, Philosopher's Stone for the Ogre, who's working on poverty mode right now. He's got a Windlace Orbital. That's the inventory of a real champ. This is the real winner for the team here. As Ilias is going to get that delivered, I assume.
It says Boots on the way.
No. Oh, he has the Iron Tree.
Boots, life.
Who's getting the... Okay, they gave it to Snapfire. Slayer, you greedy bastard. You're like double his net worth, bro.
Well, I guess they want to really just give what fun they can between the two supports to the one. The one support, the 4 position. Poor Ogre, he's just going to be a Bloodlust bot as this game develops. Has gone for the max Bloodlust build, and when you've got a Medusa Razor on your team, that Bloodlust is pretty potent.
What is this Bristleback build? He's kind of got a nice smorgasbord going here. He's got a casual chainmail, he's got a hood, he's got double bracer, he's got an Ogre Axe queued up.
What would you like to see?
It looks like a blade mail. That's what I wanted to see.
Nice.
Not really, though. I guess he's going against the Snapfire as well as the Razor, but Razor's already got a Yules to dodge the damage, and he's also queuing up that BKB, which no longer means you take damage from the blade mail.
Like at least when you hit the Ogre Club, I was expecting something like a Halberd for the disarm against Medusa. Okay, it's magical, getting slowed down. The trap's getting dealt with as well as a double damage room. That's huge for both Roshan and potentially this team fight. 9 Pasha needs to be careful. Turns, drops the ball, gets cookied back into them. There's 9 Pasha just so slow, getting kited around here. Ilias hiding in a little nook and cranny there. He's going to throw some fire blasters. It looks like TA just wants to deal with Roshan with his double damage. The Mystic Snake goes through into the pit, catches out the TA and Roshan. So Crystallize getting a nice boost in health. Navi looking to continue the standoff around the pit. What can they do here? They've got the arena. They're looking for an opening to go in and catch a few in this one. They're going to pull in the Will-O-Wisp. PPD starts the fight off. They go with the Stone Gaze now the Medusa. Medusa losing most of her mana, though. She's going to be very, very careful. Crystallize pops the wand, and they've taken out the TA. They've dealt with the double damage TA. The Blink Echo Slam does damage to the Ogre, but there's no follow-up, and NIP have already lost their key damage dealers, and Navi...
To Crystallize a boss. He just walked in like he didn't give a crap. He didn't have Manta yet. Like, when do you have carries in the North American region that are 300 gold from a big item, and they just say, nah, we're going to fight now, as they actually buy back on the Echo Slam list.
Roche is so low.
Earthshaker.
They really, even just a Fisher, they're hoping they can contest this one. They cookie on forward with the Static Link. It's going to deal a lot of damage. The Blinding Light, they just can't break the Static Link.
He could have clumsy netted him instead, actually.
Oh, and then he would have been able to still right-click him during it. And elsewhere, Crystallize secures the Aegis for the team. Manta style online as well, level 14, and suddenly things go from pretty okay to not so great for NIP.
Now, this is my concern. It's just 1 or 2 bad fights by NIP, and it's hard to win the game. And it's kind of seeing a rinse and repeat of last game, as they do pick off Mars. He is pretty squishy on 9 Pasha to the TA Deso. He's only got 11 armor, and Meld Strike plus Deso is 14. So 11 minus 14, quick maths, that's -3 gods.
We'll take another look at this team fight. Crystallizes moment as he just charges in. We'll see it
boss
soon.
Mode.
What happened to Milan? That's what I'm curious about, because it felt like he could not get off an Echo Slam. We'll take another look at it later as Crystallize is getting jumped on. He's got the Aegis, but NIP feeling like they can take a fight here, but they don't want to overcommit.
Alive?
They're leaving just the Bristle. Elsewhere, the Mars Arena is keeping the backlines of NIP locked in place. It's the Earthshaker who's barely staying alive for now, and actually manages to blink away, so he's going to survive. And 9 Pasha, Mars is maybe paying the price for this one. They lost the Bristleback.
The cookie!
Mars dead for 70 seconds. I believe that's a dieback from previously. He's statically taking a lot of damage. The Mortimer's Kiss is raining on down. Blizzy's like, let's get the hell out of here. Takes BPD with him, but they lose both TA and Bristle for it.
That's disaster. I mean, TA's just not a hero that can afford to die like this. #1 net worth.
Yeah.
The cookie stun caught him off guard. And I'm telling you, you want to see why you don't pick Bristle into Razor, or why Razor just owns this hero?
Here's the fight from before.
He just gets drained for everything.
And Milan throws out the fissure. Didn't want to go in with the Blink Echo Slam once that Mars Arena was there. Was waiting his time for this. And it felt like he needed to go in earlier to try and save that TA, perhaps.
It's hard to know when to go against these beefy guys.
Yeah.
The Mars, the Medusa, the Razor. It's not exactly straightforward, as Magical is actually getting chased down by a TA trap that was in the jungle, setting up for this kill. Gets cookied into 2, but Yules is up the Bristle. He's running. He's on the move. The TA trap again. Really screwing him over here. Set up the kill in the first place. Tanner blinks in mid, showing that he's alone, but Mars as well as Razor are both dead, so it looks like they're not going to be able to do anything with that. As Crystallize working on the BKB next, does TP into the mid lane, or TP's to the tier 3. Okay, Mars TP tier 2. No Blink Dagger. Mars is queuing up the Halberd. Pretty good against TA. Pretty much the only item that makes him not instantly die. Might he get the spear out of Fog? Does!
Spears under the trees,
and
no follow.
nothing.
Navi happy to play a slower, more patient game. We saw it last game where they weren't looking to pull ahead. They were waiting to hit their item timings and then go guns blazing, charging into NIP for a big team fight. It feels like same thing again this game. Wait for Medusa to get a couple of items. Razor's also dead. And TA hero known for somewhat falling off after a strong early game.
Takes the 20 evasion on Medusa. I didn't realize this hero has a 20% evasion talent at level 10. That's pretty good, actually.
I feel like a lot of Agi carries get this 20% evasion.
Yeah,
talent.
Terrorblade, PL. Any others you can think of?
Those were the 2 that came to mind, to be honest.
Wow, you're
I
welcome.
think there is. I mean, then you have Lifesteal who gets at level 20.
Yeah.
It's the Agi heroes are like, oh, you're an Agi hero, we'll give you some evasion. You know, that fits with your Agi theme.
Well, what happened was they all started as like 10% evasion, and then everyone's like, well, I am just farming at this stage in the game. I have no desire to have 10% evasion. And then they're like, well, I guess we'll give you an evasion talisman for free. And they're like, fine, fine.
Yeah. It's like an investment for the future because it very much doesn't help you until mid to late game. We'll see the GG bet odds there, favoring Navi, perhaps slightly more so than earlier before. And that's despite a gold deficit, so feeling like they've got the heroes, they've got the recipe to turn this game around. They're going to smoke out here underneath a ward. It wasn't scouted out by NIP. It was their own Radiant ward, it looks like. They've done the dewarding.
You can't do this against Razor.
Yeah. Cookie on forward with the static link. Razor's trying to play this one a little bit carefully, and they're just going to...
Oh, get that. Oh,
okay,
they canceled.
Yeah, I think they realized, like, wait a second, this is a
not
bit
that bad.
overkill.
Yeah.
But now, no Dark Rift for this upcoming team fight.
The fact that 9 Pasha has no blink makes it a bit awkward for Navi to start fights. They do have a Bristleback who's just kind of be in front of you anyways, so the target kind of presents itself. He does have the Blade Mail. I think the idea is he's going to get Mars Arena'd and speared and Snapfire ultied, so he just wants that initial burst to at least dish out the equivalent damage that he's taking. And if you're facing back, the Blade Mail dishes the damage back before reductions, so if he's getting that 40% damage reduction from his passive, he's still dishing out full damage back to them. So it is pretty impactful in that way, but smoked up, 9 Pasha.
Turns and doesn't want to face him, but TA blinks behind. Now the spear into the wall. 9 Pasha's got backup with the Essence Ring. He stays alive.
He's so tanky.
Tanner just gets deleted. The Hawk still trapped in the arena as well.
The Blade Mail. This is why I think Blade Mail on
nice
like non-int
BKB.
heroes is just not very good.
Saw the fissure coming, and the Hawk. This is where they wish they had that Dark Rift to get the hell
Clumsy
out
net.
of here. Not using it, but the Stone Gaze trying to run in front of him to get the stun. Crystallize, unable to succeed in doing so. And yeah, he survives through it all. Does Razor just forget to use the Clumsy Net there? Is that?
No, he actually used it at the very end,
Okay.
but it was just irrelevant. I think he could have used it earlier, and it would have been much more impactful. But it really is hard to use neutral items that are active targetable items in the current meta. Like when they added the extra hockey slot.
Yeah, it takes
It's hard for me, and I've heard other players talk about it too. You've
Your
been playing
brain
Dota
is
for
just
15
being-
years.
yeah.
You don't have that 7th hotkey. Doc's getting pretty tanky, though,
Yeah,
as this
he's
Bristleback.
much better spot than he was earlier. So we'll see if Navi will run into some Bristleback problems.
Queuing up the Rapier, Crystallize.
Okay. Do you think this is
I can dig
warranted?
I can dig it.
Okay.
I was wondering if they were going to consider Silver Edge on anybody. Just against the Underlord Bristle seems pretty good.
They are starting to have some damage problems in these fights.
Yeah.
It feels like so.
They are massing armor, though. The problem with this NIP lineup is, even though they have Shaker, most of their damage is physical. So you can just get this Vlad's Medallion on 9 Pasha, and it's going to mitigate a lot of damage over time if they keep getting these armor items. As we said, armor counters minus armor, guys. So we need that AC eventually. Maybe Razor will consider it. He is. Wow. Magical. You and I are mind-melded, sir. And, Titan Sliver found by Medusa. It is 26 minutes, so the new items coming out. Let's see. We got any of them for anybody? Wait. Blizzy. Blizzy, man. Blizzy. You don't have a neutral item, buddy.
It's coming on the courier?
27 minutes in the game, bro.
Surely it's just coming out on the courier or something.
No, it's all 5 couriers are in base.
We'll see what happens with that one. But 9 Pasha, he's got Crystallized with him, but that is not the arena I was hoping for. Magical gets Blink Echo, doesn't get a chance to use BKB, gets blown up. Great play from Milan.
They have buybacks.
Yeah, they're going to fissure,
Might need
block
to.
Crystallized outside of his base. It gets a cookie to try to push him out, but he gets pulled back in, and now he drops the BKB Stone Gate. He's going to turn and fight with the Mortimer's Kisses. PPD doesn't stand a chance against that one, but unfortunately for Navi, they don't get any more kills other than the fight position, so really good outcome from NIP, who get a buyback out of it.
Wow. I guess at this point, Razor's linking TA, it's just underwhelming because he has no armor. He needs to buy that plate mail. He just gets hit by TA during the duration, and he actually just dies too fast to get the effective amount of damage stolen.
NIP definitely showing some fight here as they play on the enemy side of the map, and a perfectly timed Roche respawn right as Tanner was headed that way. Could see NIP get themselves their second Roche of the game.
Queued up the MKB against that evasion talent from the Medusa. Annoying to have to itemize against that, but probably worth it if I had to imagine. They have no other evasion on the entire squad. Maybe he'll consider a Daedalus instead, but we'll see.
Recognizing that at some point, yeah, that evasion is going to become a problem.
Maybe he's assuming Medusa might go Butterfly as well, and if he doesn't have the MKB at that time, and things get a little weird. Medusa's level 20 talents are seemingly underwhelming. The Stone Gaze duration is okay, I think, because now you get that movement speed. It almost gives you, like, that's more so important than anything else.
Crystallized runs into a smoke.
That's not the target you want.
And yeah, they blink backwards. Normally you smoke up, you find a hero, you blink onto them for some stuns, but Crystallized, whoa.
That seems a bit
Stone Gaze
panicky.
and BKB TP out. Yeah, you had to use the BKB with the Shaker coming in. And
Huh. Well, there you go. BKB Old Forest.
all right, Medusa has the Demon Edge. Relic queued up next. We'll see if there's any item locking or if Crystallized just goes all out for the Rapier without an Aegis. Because
I'm down.
Aegis Cheese are on NIP and pressure's
Auto?
on for Navi.
Nope, Magical might be in some trouble of his own. They could use Will-O-Wisp to cancel his TP if he doesn't BKB. They already used the Root from Underlord, though, who still doesn't have a neutral item, Blizzy! Blizzy! Sorry, I'm done.
New Steam achievement. Win a Dota game without a neutral item.
Oh, really? Okay, I got to do that in my next game. That's why all my teammates were doing it.
Yep. Unlock some Dota trading cards or something on your Steam profile.
Oh, that's what it's all about, the Dota trading cards.
Like 10 bounty hunter ones, I'm pretty sure.
I think I have way more than 10.
Yeah. Every time I see them there, I'm like, that's a lot of bounty hunters. Like, what's the deal with these bounty hunter
It's like
trading cards?
Razor, Bounty Hunter,
Yeah,
Tide
Razor.
Hunter, Tiny. Those are the ones
Yeah.
that... Good stuff.
Those were something that was like added probably when
Vengeful Spirit.
Dota 2 first came out and never got updated.
I still get more. Yeah, you still get them randomly. Some of them are holographics. They're worth like 30 cents. It's pretty hype.
Yep.
If you guys are having some struggling times and during during the quarantine. Feel free to make sure you don't have any leftover savings in your Dota 2 trading card collection. Could definitely get you at least a piece of bubblegum with those. Sorry.
They don't sell bubblegum on the Steam store, Brian.
Well, you could somehow get it out in the real world. Yeah.
That's the value of it. If you sell enough, you could get some BZZ Pugna sets, maybe.
True.
That's probably what it's.
And that's investment in the future, because we all know in the future those are going to be worth millions.
Yep. When BZZ wins TI, you're going to be wishing you had those Pugna sets.
Mark our words now. Please clip it and ship it till when he wins TI.
Here we go. Who's this game favoring right now? Who you feeling? You still gung ho about Navi, or is things swinging the other
Getting less
way?
and less gung ho. The fights are a bit awkward for them now. The no blink Mars makes their initiation very telegraphed. Like they have to just walk at you, and they have the proper responses. The shaker, the coddle. If you don't catch them with their pants down, then I don't see how NIP ever really gets bursted at this stage, because you saw like the way they were winning fights in the mid game was Razor just walking in and linking them. But now that TA has Blink Deso, the Earthshaker has Blink Echo, and these enough items and levels are coming out for NIP's lineup, they can kill this Razor if he just does that. So I'm really looking towards this Blink timing for Mars, as he has it queued up as one of his 3 choices.
You'd like to see it as the next item he buys before anything else?
Yeah, I really think it's the only item that changes anything. The other items make him tanky and they're nice, but there's luxury items and there's items that change the game. Luxury items mean that you already think you could do your job and you just want to do it better. And other items such as Blink are things that say, I need to do my job better, like differently. Like I need to be able to add a different dimension to my game. In this case, Solar Crest is just a beef-up item. Same with Halberd. While Blink actually allows his team to get the initiation that I think they really desperately need right now.
All right, well, NIP have got Navi bottled up in their base, which is a good sign for NIP. With a 7k gold lead that's building up and up as they farm the map, farm all 3 lanes, farm the enemy jungle. You can see there it's been a steady decline in NIP's favor on the graphs.
That looks like my bank account right now.
That's a sad, sad sight then in that case, Brian.
Yeah. Too real? Back to the game.
You got to sell some more of those trading cards. It sounds
That's
like
true.
you've been hoarding them.
Well, I already bought all the BZZ Pugna sets I could find.
Oh, you
so
hold on to those.
I don't really see the point of selling any more of my trading cards.
Yeah.
Kind of just a stalemate going on here.
Medusa's trying to get that relic, it looks like, with the Courier on the side. But there's a dire Observer Ward, so it looks like they have an idea of what's going on. They're even pinging this, so... This is the let's find the Courier Observer Ward. Don't want to go losing any rapiers. It will just be a relic on the Courier since he's already got the Demon Edge separately. And has the money for it now as well. What level do you get the Courier Shield? Is that level 20?
The Courier what?
The shield.
Yeah, 20.
Okay. So
it is indeed level 20. It's hard to keep up with all that stuff sometimes because they made it so couriers could use items at a certain level and then they stopped that. But yes, it is still level 20 for the shield.
Zooms it over the trees.
Zip, zap, zooming it.
We're free. Off the side of the map.
That's OP. I wish I could do that. He believes he can fly. Gods.
Again, the Courier sure as hell can. It's now. If you can't fly in your alley, you're
That's
doing
true.
something wrong.
That is absolutely true. Some of them are a little bit less believable, but that one, it adds up. The math checks out.
It's no BTS Elgato Courier. We have a flying cat with a cape.
I think everyone dreams of that, so that's appealing to emotion rather than reason, And that's respectable in and of its own right. The blink.
There's the blink. It comes in on Blizzy. He goes for the escape, but he gets silence.
Yeah, the Mind Breaker.
Mind Breaker, nice.
Yeah, usually that 1.5 second silence isn't that big of a deal, but that specific case was quite nice.
Not quite the old Mind Breaker, the 2.5 second silence, which
What do you mean? When it came out, it was 4 seconds.
4? Okay.
Yeah, when it came out, it was 4.
Oh, God, that's insane.
That item was stupid. You'd literally just be like a Storm Spirit, and they'd have no way to kill you, and then you just die to a Mind Breaker, 4 second silence. Then they nerfed it to like 2, 2.5 or something, and then they nerfed it again to 1.5.
Sometimes feels a little lackluster, but
it just makes it so they can't instantly react like a Lion Hex or, Underlord instantly ulting or Underlord laying down his root.
Yep.
That's all it does, and that's nice, right? It changes things a bit, but like if you're a split pusher, you're probably not going to die to a 1.5 second stun, as opposed to a 4 second stun, for free.
And it's nice because while doing that, it also gives you some bonus magic right-click damage. So it's like a more balanced item.
Yeah. They've done a good job of equaling out the power level, except for Orb of Destruction. That item's pretty stupid. As Tanner scouts out, does just TP away, though. No Shaker around to cancel that TP.
So Rapier was combined and built. Crystallize has the mask to go with it, throws in some lifesteal. Of course, this has definitely been seen by NIP as we just saw that trap underneath the Medusa being popped. And Crystallize wanting to finish off a Satanic, ideally, to go with this Rapier.
Yeah, the level 25 talent, pretty big for that as well, because you lifesteal off of your split shot. And as long as you are attacking, you generally do not die as Medusa.
NIP, despite having seen this Rapier, is still trying to play aggressive. They're smoked up behind the Bristleback here in the mid lane. This Crystallize coming back to defend. It's the bottom lane, where Tanner has to be careful. Some dewarding in the end. 8k gold lead. 15 kills to 18 in a very important game for NIP.
Oh, the butt spear! Yes! I don't really care if it didn't work, but that was the highlight for me.
May die for it. No, he gets full stuff out.
No, they respect him too much to kill him after that beautiful execution of button pressing.
Like, if he can do that, what else can he do then?
Yeah, this guy's he's a real wild card. He's a madman. Don't mess with him. He's got the craggy coat. He's actually got he's got 40 armor, I think, on Mars. Yeah, 40 armor. He has a talent. He has a medallion. He has a Vlad's, a craggy coat, phase boots. That it's a lot of armor. And the AC to boot on top of that within the fights will be even more.
Slayer doing what he can to push out lanes, something that the old Snapfire is pretty good at with the cookie and shotgun blast.
Did take the scatter blast damage talent. Yeah. Misses the fissure. Slayer, he sees the fissure. He has to believe they know he's here.
And they will confirm it.
Run, sir.
Yeah, he may be able to survive it. So, oh my gosh, his team meanwhile take out PPD. Bristle's in the trees here, and it looks like they maybe consider going for the Bristle, who already TP out. So Magical charging forward doesn't look like we'll find. Oh, may find the TA back in the mid lane.
They've first time outside of their base in a while for Navi. The scenery's nice. Looks like the same as they left it for the last 15 minutes or so.
Unfortunately, you leave your base and suddenly you've got some, leaks and stuff that needs addressing back at home. Some creeps chipping at your door.
That's really nice, actually. They now know there's a ward there from the Dire side because those creeps chased TA all the way up into our own jungle. That's something you learned in the Jenkins Dota video that I saw. If the creeps chase you, that means they see you. And if the creeps see you, they don't just have random sight. They have the ward on the Radiant side. So PBD pings that out immediately, or somebody on the Dire side, and it will be almost instantly dewarded, I'm sure.
PPD's been watching the Jenkins videos, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Nothing else would explain his support prowess and his moments of brilliance.
Yeah, PPD needs some help with the warding, I'm sure. He's
very true.
Not had much experience.
He hasn't won TI in about 4 years, so he's definitely slacking.
Yeah, that sounds like washed up to me.
Me too. He's won as many TIs as I have in the last 4 years.
There you go. That's
real washed up.
That's speaking to. I don't know if that's speaking to how well you've done over the last 4 years, or.
Let's just leave it at that,
Okay.
As we see a potential Roche engagement, it is an Ag Scepter.
Navi just picked up an AC and the Satanic on Crystallize, so they are a whole lot stronger right now. And
this Aegis for the Rapier is incredibly important.
And there's also a Titan Sliver on the Medusa, so that's more bonus damage, but importantly, status and magic resist, so more damage block coming out on the Medusa. This is an amazing item, better than probably all the tier 4 items for carries some of the time.
I'd prefer a leveler for sure. Dish it out. As Dahak walks up the high ground, I don't know about that.
TA's in the Roshan pit.
Okay, he's making some space.
Yeah.
They have to get through this front liner.
TA's killing this fast.
They're just okay.
I don't think Navi realized how fast Roche is going down.
Ag Scepter for who? Shaker? Shaker gets the Ags.
Nice.
It's honestly a pretty underwhelming Ags in comparison to what it used to be, but still very good. Coddle's actually building an Ags of his own.
Spear in Dahak. Crystallize. Going to be a little bit careful here on the front lines.
He has no Aegis, just cheese, and he's Spirit Vesseled.
Oh, Ogre suns himself in the Lotus Orb. Looking on back Magical, trying to zone them away. Tanner with the Aegis. Might expect him to be going in soon. We'll see what he can muster up as Navi decide maybe we're going to retreat to the safety of our base. This TA is massive. Tanner, MKB dataless. BKB left in the backpack for now while the Aegis is there. Surely to be slotted in should she need it for her second life. Does sometimes limit what you can do, because sometimes you may want that BKB for that first life when you jump in. Definitely a scenario where Tanner can get kited heavily.
Yeah, the net worth lead just keeps growing. It is a bit deceiving because that Ag Scepter synth is worth 6K net worth. So ignoring the Ags, it is 6K less than what it says up at the top. Earthshaker has actually skyrocketed in the charts on the left side here. He almost doubles his net worth, going from 10 to 16,000. As he's jumping from place to place. He's got a Lotus Orb. That's pretty nice. Against the Razor, they now have 2 of those. Flicker for TA. That's also nice.
You think TA holds on to it?
I probably would myself.
Okay.
I think movement speed plus the ability to dodge the over ignite and stuff like that is actually really relevant.
Yep.
But he elects to go damage, so how boring and predictable.
See more of those tier 4 items popping up fairly soon, I imagine. NIP with full control of the jungle will likely look to farm those out. Is definitely something that could have an impact on this game here as we enter the later stages. We've had some longer games today, and Navi definitely a team not unaccustomed to late game Dota.
Are they really not going to hold on to the flicker on anybody? 40 movement speed is so much. Even if you just
Blizzy
drop
got
it
a
in
neutral
fights.
item. Where's Blizzy at?
He has the Havoc Hammer. He's
All right,
online.
we're good.
He has noticed he didn't have one. Illusionist Cape, not a good item here.
No, not ideal. I guess TA, you can swap it in and out of your backpack maybe, or just hold on to it straight up. Decides it's worth it just to push out some lanes perhaps, or maybe try and bait with the illusion. But often what you'll see when it's a bad Illusionist Cape game is like whoever the carrier mid is will just backpack it and slot it in and out.
Yeah.
Use it for some scouting or like kind of pseudo pushing a lane.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The illusion does get side blades. It just doesn't do very much damage.
Yep. See it in action here.
He's not even microing it.
Not side blading.
What a nub. Does get like 4 CS though. Super exciting standoff we got here.
Yeah, Navi just
I'm at the edge of my
trapped
seat.
in their base.
Yep.
NIP with Aegis do not want to go high ground because it's Medusa, it's Mars, it's, you know, Mortimer's Kisses. There's a lot of big ultimates that you're pushing into.
But who doesn't like Grandma's Kisses? Gods.
Navi apparently, well, sorry, NIP apparently, since they're the ones staying away from them.
Yeah, that's true. I'm learning a lot about Peter as we see his documentary.
He's not a grandma's boy?
Yeah, he's not a grandma's boy.
He wouldn't mind Grandma's Kisses, but Mortimer's the dragon that Grandma's riding around on, I guess. Is that
She's an
extension?
extension. They're an extension of one another.
Okay.
Yes, like they come in a package deal. You can't just take the things you love about your grandma, but not the things you don't. You know, it's not how it works. Unconditional. As Prince's Knife for TA does elect to take that. I don't mind that at all.
Yep.
Having that instant stun, I guess it's not that great because you have Meld Bash.
Yeah, it's like they'll overlap almost.
Yeah. You could hit and then Meld Bash.
Okay.
Seems inefficient though.
Yep. Navi holding the high ground. What's the play here? TA rapier of her own.
Oh, goes
by
for the
way.
butt spear, misses it.
So we're seeing some. Is Crystallized going to get another rapier? Is that the play for Medusa, by the way?
He's going Daedalus.
Daedalus,
I have to imagine it might be more damage to have a Daedalus and a rapier than it is to have two rapiers. He does have the split shot, uses modifiers now, so that goes up in value, the Crystallis.
Yep.
Since they removed they lessened the bonus damage from Crystallis, but they made it a higher chance to crit, it does synergize very well with the bonus damage from the rapier.
Makes sense. Oh. We'll see what NMP can do with this TA rapier, and they're not pushing high ground with Aegis, so they've got to be careful. Tanner really would like this game not to drag too much long. He's very squishy if he ever gets stunned or caught out, and things like Ogre Fire Blast could just multicast, burst him down, so Not an easy game for him to play out, which is why even with Aegis, he's not going for any kind of a high ground push or play.
Wow, he did. He hits for a lot on TA. That's about 700 damage. And with a crit built in, with the minus armor.
Yep.
When will the Clash of the Titans happen here? Gods.
It feels like this is the build-up. You know that.
Does
one
somebody have
big
time to
fight.
go to the bathroom? Like, are we chilling here?
If
or
you're
is
talking
it-
about you,
no, not me.
You don't get bathroom breaks.
No,
Players
I'm
do.
talking about the viewers at home.
Oh,
Like, I'm
okay.
sure they're asking themselves, like, I don't want to miss the action. I've been sitting here for the last 20 minutes. When do I get to see something? And I'm asking your expertise, Gods.
Oh my.
To help them out.
It could happen soon because Navi may make a play with Aegis down. I can see that happening.
Okay.
Percent
chances, so they know.
They're getting the data list. I would say there is a...
This is for